This is a Red FM Vancouver podcast. Make sure you hit subscribe for more great content. For further info, log on to redfm.ca.
ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਮੰਤਰੀ ਨੇ Honourable Marco Mendicino ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਹੋਏਗੀ. Minister, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, my friend? Sat Sri Akal, sir.
Sat Sri Akal. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Minister, first of all, please tell us a little bit more about this visitor to work visa program. Is just the flag polling only thing that has changed?
Well, look, as you know, we have made sure that immigration continues to provide an important lifeline during the pandemic, leveraging all of the skills and the experience that those who are coming to Canada, including through our visa programs, are coming by complying with the health protocols which are in place to ensure that we're not spreading the virus, but are able to come to Canada and to come to work, which I think is going to help us not only manage our economic recovery out of the pandemic, but our long-term prosperity. And certainly with regards to some of the changes that we have made, in particular for those who are visitors, we have now made them eligible if they have a job offer to now transition from visitor visa status to a work permit. This is something that we heard from numerous small businesses and employers to introduce, and it has been received very positively. And it will be part of our overall plan going forward to continue to see immigration drive that economic recovery and our long-term prosperity. And I'm quite excited about that.
Yeah, when we opened the line, the people said that there's nothing new in it. You could have done that before also. The only thing new is that you don't have to go across the border. Is that correct?
Well, certainly that's an important change. As those who are here and who have had to previously leave Canada to go and apply and then come back was an inconvenience, to say the least. And that's why I think this new change has been received very positively. And it's just one of a series of changes that we have made to our immigration system with technology by moving more of our processes online and virtually so that we can continue to leverage immigration in a way that is positive. And as I say, we'll continue to find new ways to ensure that people who want to come to Canada, who want to contribute to our economy, who want to help us start that economic recovery, which is so important, and who will contribute to our diversity and to our long-term prosperity, we'll continue to find those ways, and I'm very excited about that work.
One more thing that's very, very important, Minister. Please don't tell me that talk to Minister Carla Qualtrough. We want to speak to you. Actually, people have instructed me to talk to you. That's why we invited you. It's about LMIA. LMIA is being sold for $40,000 to $50,000 a piece. I kept telling the previous minister, Honourable Ahmed Hussain, also, major exploitation is happening, Minister, here. Can you abolish LMIA and find some other alternative?
Well, look, as you know, I'm always happy to come on your show and take the questions.
I appreciate that.
I'll continue to do that. But when it comes to fraud in the system, whether it's with regards to the LMIA or with regard to other instances of abuse, we take that very seriously. And that's one of the reasons why that we have made investments to increase investigations and enforcement to crack down on those people who would take advantage of the aspiring newcomers and Canadians who want to come and work in Canada, and we will continue to do that. We've also ensured that there is a new college, regulatory college that will ensure that those who are consultants in immigration are following by the rules, and when they don't, then they too will have to face consequences. And with regards to the labor management impact assessment, this is an important tool to ensure that that there are the proper conditions for success for people who are coming to work in Canada where there are labor shortages. And so I will continue to work very closely with not only Minister Qualtrough, but as well Minister Bibeau and all of our colleagues in government to ensure that when we bring in immigrants, that they are set up for success.
Minister Marco Mendicino, sir, I cannot stress enough that this LMIA system has become a very dangerous tool in the hands of the crooks. You wouldn't believe people are crying. I have heard people crying because they've been exploited. Is there any other way of doing this labor management impact accept that LMIA? Can we get around it?
Well, first, let me just empathize with those who've been taken advantage of. And I hear you, and I know you received those stories. And trust me when I tell you that they will motivate me and all of us in government to continue to crack down on those predators who are taking advantage of vulnerable people who are coming to Canada to, as I say, contribute to our economy, to contribute to our communities. And we want to make sure that they have every opportunity to succeed. And that's one of the reasons why immigration has been such a fundamental part of our history, and why me, the son of an immigrant family, believes very strongly that those opportunities have to exist, that there is a level playing field, that people are being fair. And when I hear about these stories, I'm very moved by them. So all I can tell you is that we are going to take the steps necessary to crack down on those people, those criminals who would commit fraud, who would take advantage of the vulnerable, so that we have a system that people can be confident in.
No, I'm really proud that nobody can better understand the pain of the immigrants than you can. So have you ever sat down with Minister Carla Qualtrough about this issue and discussed it? Are you fully aware of it, that LMI is being sold?
I'm certainly aware from our past conversations, and I want to assure you that I have spoken with Minister Qualtrough, who is not only working on this issue, but she has helped to introduce measures directly in the temporary foreign worker program who are coming in with LMIAs to be sure that the conditions are fair, to be sure that workers who are coming in, that their rights are being respected and that they're being protected. And that's part of the $108 million that we've invested directly into this program, because we do want to be sure that people are following by the rules. And that's over and above the other investments that we've made on the enforcement side and on the regulatory side, which falls under my purview as well. So I assure you that we are working hand in glove together, and we will continue to find ways to provide those opportunities to aspiring newcomers and Canadians in Canada who want to come and work for all the right reasons.
Another thing is that now, because of COVID-19, not as many immigrants are coming due to the processing delay and other things. So are you considering to give PR to the people who are already in here on work permits or being, visitor visas, or they've been working through the pandemic, and other people there? There are a lot of people here in Canada already. They don't have PR. They are seasonal workers, they're foreign workers, they're all kind of people. Are you considering to give them PR? Because there was a kind of committee sitting of the Parliament committee considering it.
That's a really good point, and you're quite right that there are people who are here on a temporary work permit. There are many students who are here, and we do have pathways that allow them to move from being temporary immigrants to permanent residents. And one of the things that's emerged in the pandemic is a real discussion, an important conversation about whether or not we can broaden those opportunities for people who are already here, who are contributing to our economy by putting food on our table, by working in various sectors, whether it's innovation, technology, who are going to school here, whether it's out west where you live or in Ontario or out east in Atlantic Canada. And I am very optimistic about the possibilities that are coming out of this pandemic, and looking for ways to, as I say, take the opportunity and to provide more broader pathways to transition to permanent residency, because I genuinely believe that that's one of the ways in which we're going to accelerate our economic recovery.
And also, Minister, international students who are enrolled in Canadian universities but learning virtually in their respective countries, would their study be counted towards physical presence for work permit and PR?
Well, one of the things that we have done is that we have, because of the border restrictions which are still in place to mitigate against the risks of the spread of COVID-19, we've introduced online education so that those who are still abroad can start their classes in the fall semester as we continue to engage directly with the provincial governments, with the territorial governments, and with all of the schools who would like to welcome international students back to Canada or for the first time. So those are the types of changes that we have made, the flexibilities that we've introduced to the international student program, so that foreign students, international students, can start their classes online without any penalty to their eligibility to consider working in Canada as part of their postgraduate work program. And that is something that we introduced in response to what we heard from schools, from students, and from provincial governments, and we will continue to work with them to ensure that the international student program is a success. As you know, it contributes over $21 billion to our economy every year.
So we take it that the time spent in their own countries will be considered as physical presence here, is it?
What we have done is we have introduced basically a two-stage approval where they can start their classes online with the hope eventually that they will be able to come and participate in their classes on campus, but when they do so, following all of the health protocol rules which we have put into place from pre-arrival to border to being on campus. And it's a two-stage process. And yes, ultimately to be able to then pursue Canadian work experience, because that's one of the most attractive features of the international student program. One of the reasons why the international student program in Canada has been so successful is because of the Canadian experience that you actually acquire when you're on Canadian soil.
Lastly, Minister, will there be any announcements pretty soon, I guess, in near future about family reunification?
Well, look, I want to begin by acknowledging that this has been a very challenging period for families, and I am moved by the many stories that we're seeing. It's one of the reasons why I introduced on behalf of the government an immediate family exemption for those who are related closely to Canadian citizens and permanent residents, and that has helped many families reunite, notwithstanding the fact that we have to have these rules in place. And by the way, as you know, those rules are helping to save lives. They're limiting the spread of the virus, and we've made great progress. And the last thing that we would want to see right now is a step backwards. So we are continuing to examine ways in which we can reunite more families. We're still accepting applications. We're processing them. We're in the process of finding ways to prioritize, notwithstanding the fact that there is still this disruption. And look, I would just say stay tuned on that front.
Minister, I really appreciate your time, and I know that nobody can better understand than you. You are a son of an immigrant yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. As always, I look forward to our next chat.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to another Red FM podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe and check out our Red FM Canada YouTube channel. For further info, log on to our Red FM social media platforms or visit redfm.ca.